Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. Good show tonight. Several calls on the line talking about restoring voting rights for people with felony convictions. And let's go to Lucy. Hello, Lucy.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Well, Mr. Hall, I'm going to need your help a little bit here. I have a little bit of brain fog tonight, but you can help me in identifying the question I want to ask. I appreciate all of y'all coming on. This is a very important issue. We've got people in this country that are committing suicide all across the board, and we got people who are not voting. And anything that hinders that, I mean anything, to me is an absolute disgusting mess that adds to whatever is going on in our country right now. So I would like to address my question to the representative there. They had a bill that they got passed. Now, you mentioned, just another side note, you mentioned Men of Valor. You said you weren't trying to do any type of product placement. I know that's Governor Lee's big baby kind of pet project, you know, the Men of Valor program. And that ties in with a lot of these ex-convicts. But what about the people who have never been to prison that because they're working 2 or 3 jobs, who are having a hard time to register the vote, and they go up to these people who are volunteering to register to vote, and now that option has been pulled from them because overwhelmingly the Republican legislature voted to almost, to me, criminalize people who are trying to desperately help people register the vote in these rural areas and in these impoverished areas. They're making it a crime. I would like to know just yes or no on that bill. Mr. Hall, help me with what that bill is. I can't remember what it was called.
Right.
But how did you vote? Did you vote for it or against it? And I'll take your answer offline. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We recently had that organization on OpenLine, and I think you said the name of the number of the bill, but there was a penalty associated if you turn in a large number of voter registration forms that are not filled out properly. And the people that were on the show that were doing their best to register people, get them voted, they were obviously very upset by that. It got some bad national attention. So that's what Lucy's asking about.
Absolutely. So I remember the bill well. First of all, you mentioned volunteers. The bill that you're speaking about didn't touch volunteers. So if you're working for a church organization or a civic organization as a volunteer, you're going out registering folks to vote. The bill certainly wasn't designed to go after those types of organizations. In fact, we encourage that. I help with some of those activities in my own district, and I know many legislators, as we went through the legislature, talked about, hey, does this exclude, like, if we buy a bunch of volunteers pizza, to help them at the end of the night, or get them drinks, or bottles of water or whatever? So no. So true volunteer organizations, we absolutely want to support and endorse that. What we were trying to respond to was groups that would come in kind of at the 11th hour, just on election eve, and literally the Secretary of State's office would report getting a stack of forms that all have the exact same first and last name on them, that's 50 pages high, with no signature, no address, no nothing. The idea there, I think the tactic by some of those nefarious groups, was to flood the system quickly to try to invalidate what would otherwise be a very close election. Say, oh, well, there's all these folks who tried to register at the 11th hour, so we need to go back and relook at this, or maybe cast the vote again. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't giving credence to folks who really were acting nefariously and were really attacking the voting system. And so I think that bill accurately did that. I was proud to vote for it. But really what's at issue here is making sure that folks know that if they can be re-enfranchised, that they have the opportunity to do so. I think we've talked about tonight how so many folks, when they leave prison, they maybe don't even have the notion that they ever could be a normal member of society again. And so we want to encourage them at every step of that. Again, voter rights restoration is probably not their main concern on day one. It's more like, where am I sleeping tonight? What am I going to get to eat? Do I have a relative I can stay with? What is my next move? And so we don't ever want somebody to do all those things, working through the process, and then get to the end of it and find that we've made this system so complicated that they can't sort of get that crowning achievement, that icing on the cake, if you will, of being able to restore their right to vote.
Lucy, thank you for that question. I'm just going to keep going through the calls here. That kind of puts some things together. Appreciate the question. Let's go to Joe here on line 1. Joe?
Hi, thanks for taking my call, and let's try to get back on track here with the felony idea of having them the right to vote. I believe that, of course, once a felon commits a crime and he serves all the time, that they obviously should be able to vote after all their time is served. My question, I guess, is when they're paroled or when they get out of prison without serving their full term, are we going to allow them still the right to vote until their full term is served? And I think you guys can understand that. Like, if say they have a 15-year sentence and they're out at 7 years, are we still going to allow them the right to vote at that time?
Okay. All right, let's ask about that. What about that?
Yeah, I think, Joe, that's a great question, and it's an important clarification, right? So the answer is no. I mean, this would kick in. You would be allowed to register to vote once you have served your sentence, or you've gotten out of prison and you finished probation and you finished parole. Chairman Curcio, as I understand it, that's when your bill would say, yes, you can go ahead and re-register to vote.
Absolutely. We want to make sure that folks have completely paid that debt to society. And then once they have, the idea is that hopefully it can be a clean break for all of these things. And the previous caller, Lucy's touched on something which I think I've heard certainly from several of my constituents, and we want to make sure we don't give the wrong idea. We don't ever want to make registering to vote or getting a job or access to any social service or anything else easier because you're incarcerated. Okay, so we're not trying to give folks an enhanced leg up. In fact, I think both of these ladies would tell you that somebody comes out of prison, they certainly don't have any great advantage over the rest of society. And so I hear a lot of people say, well, what about me? I never did commit a crime. I am working 3 jobs and I'm trying to be a productive member of society. We say, hey, trust me, you've got all these advantages and more. So we want to make sure that we make that point very, very clear as well.
Okay. All right, we have to take a break. Hold on the line if you're on the line. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.